Hello, friends. How are you today? I'm so excited to be here. My name is Tina Ciesla, and I am a natural health professional. I live just south of Birmingham, Alabama, and I've been a diamond with Young Living for about 5 years. Joined Young Living in 2013, and I'm going to tell you more about my story throughout this class. We're going to be talking about digestive enzymes. Now, digestive enzymes can be such a big topic, and I'm going to try to keep it pretty concise for you. And I'm going to be unloading a lot of information, so you might want a pen and paper to take some notes. Feel free to take screenshots if you can, and this will be recorded for future playback. This is such vital information for us and for our bodies to be able to heal itself. And so I think it's very important that you learn this, that you share this with your friends. You know, there's a quote that I love. It says, "The sin of the desert is knowing where the water is and not sharing it." I'll repeat that. The sin of the desert is knowing where the water is and not sharing it. Now, with me, I was just a manicurist, salon owner, doing my thing, mom, wife, working away at life, right? Just doing the standard American thing. And then all of a sudden I had this scary diagnosis after a lot of pain and inflammation that was just kind of chronic. It hung around way too long. And so I started unpacking that back beginning in the late part of 2012. And so in May of 2013 is when I was introduced to Young Living, but I had already been really looking at foods that cause inflammation and how the foods were affecting my body. Now, I told you I'm from just south of Birmingham, Alabama, so I'm a Southern girl born and raised. I love a good homemade buttermilk biscuit with white flour, right? Cooked in a black iron skillet. I love just our Southern traditions of cooking. Being a busy mom of two girls, I didn't have the time to really look at what healthy food looked like. As a salon owner and a manicurist of nearly 30 years, I ran through a lot of drive-throughs on my way home from work. I did a whole lot of microwave meals. I did a whole lot of take-home things, and we just ate the standard American diet. And you know, the more I learned about the foods that were causing the inflammation I was having in my body, the more I wanted to know. And so as I started sharing the results that I was having within my health journey with my clients, my coworkers, my friends, my family, people are like, "Oh my gosh, this is incredible, the turnaround you've had." Now, let me tell you, one of the things that really inspired me to make sure that I did this naturally is that I am a sister. I have siblings. I have an older sister and a younger brother, and I'm gonna try not to get emotional. Both of which have had medical prescribed addictions to prescription drugs that turned into lifelong destructive behaviors. And so, with watching what they did, I said no to all of the prescriptions that my doctor had offered me for my autoimmune condition. I said, no, that's just, no, I've seen how that has affected the people in my family. And I know I have a very strong genetic predisposition to have an addiction in my life. And I just choose not to. I know that God made my body and He will help me heal my body. So I started praying. And I'm going to be looking at some of these comments, but it's probably going to be after this video. Also, too, y'all stay to the end because I've got some fun giveaways, and anybody here can win. I'm going to give away 10 things. So you know, back to that journey of what started me on this whole process. I had stomach cramps. They called them abdominal migraines. I had gas, bloating. I could weigh 100 pounds, but I always had this bloat in the middle of my belly. When I was a baby, my grandfather used to tell my mother that I looked like one of those starving children on an ad on TV, right? Because that was just that really thin body frame, but a big bulging belly. And that was just how I thought that was the way I was built. And that's the way my body was just shaped. And so I never connected the things that were going on in my chronic issues. I had sinus issues. I've had saw the same great ear, nose, and throat doctor for 25 years. I haven't had to see him in 7 years because I've changed things. I was forever having mucus and just lots and lots of food allergies. I was told at 10 years old that I was allergic to wheat and all the grasses and the trees outside. I remember my mother telling me, "You can never go outside and play again. You're allergic to everything." I went on injection therapy. I've had 2 sinus surgeries. All through all of that, you can imagine the sinus infections, the antibiotics, the steroid shots, the things that were given to me throughout my life to try to alleviate the problems I was having. It was just part of it. And going back even further, I'm 52 years old. I was born in 1968 via C-section. And my mom, at that time, in the culture of new babies and new mamas, it was norm for mamas to put their babies on infant formula. It wasn't a trend to nurse your babies. It was a trend to do the infant formula. My mother worked, so she had to, feed me somehow. So I was allergic to the dairy and traditional infant formulas, and so I was given soy formula. And so I'm giving you all these pieces of my history because it really does play into all of the things that have contributed to that big, scary autoimmune diagnosis that I had in 2012. And so, as I started learning and looking back and really investigating what was wrong with our food, learning about genetic modification, I had no idea what that was in 2012, but I learned, I taught myself. My husband and I used to sit and go, why are these people going in these expensive organic grocery stores and paying double what groceries cost at another less expensive grocery store, right? So we just didn't understand. We didn't understand the process that was wrong with the standard American diet. So we really started making small choices. I removed wheat and sugar out of my diet. We have a small hobby farm here in central Alabama, and so we decided to get Nigerian dwarf dairy goats to have raw milk because we had, as homeschool family at the time, we were homeschooling 2 girls. It was just a season of our life. We didn't set out to do that. It was just something that came along and we were obedient. But as a homeschooling family, we learned about the process of milk and how it's pasteurized and homogenized, and the keys inside the milk that are naturally there to help us digest it are removed through that process. Just you look back and you go, wow, God, I had all these little stepping stones that led me to this time, and I'm still learning these stepping stones as we move forward. And so I don't know everything. I just don't, but I am a student all the time. I'm just about to finish my certification at Trinity School of Natural Health. And I just want to let you know that I am not a doctor. I'm not a nurse. I'm not a medical practitioner of any kind. I'm not here to prescribe, to treat, to diagnose, to recommend anything. I just want to provide you some education. I want to give you kind of like the nutshell of where digestive enzymes have played such a role in my history and what state my body's in now, and give you some ingredients and things to look for to teach you how to label read and to teach you how to understand what it is in the process of how, when you even just take your first bite of food and how you chew it and how God designed your body to start really breaking down that food and to process it. Okay, so I do have some notes and I have some visual things that I'm going to be sharing with you because I just need to stay on track. That's just how I am. Okay, I've got a lot of irons in the fire, a lot of plates spinning, and I want to deliver some information for you that you will not regret giving me this time. Okay, so let me just kind of talk to you, and I got to put on my glasses because, again, 52 years old. That's one thing I miss is my eyesight. Okay, so enzymes, what are they? They're the biological catalyst. Think about catalyst. A catalyst is what helps something to change. So enzymes are the biological catalysts that speed up the chemical reactions in all living things. So when you think about it, really everything's a chemical except for light and electricity. Everything. Some chemicals are good, some chemicals are bad. When I was a nail tech, I'd have people sit down and I would be doing a beautiful set of acrylic nails on them, and they would ask me about the chemicals in the nail products. And that's, there are things that in excess can be damaging to your body, but water's one of them. If you have too much water, you could drown. So, there are things that we have to have in certain balance, and enzymes are one of them. So without enzymes, nothing would work, right? Let's think about that. Nothing would work. Your mind, your thought process, not just your digestive, but even breaking your arm and having to heal those connective bones and tissues, you could not do that without enzymes. They're required for everything. If you did not have enzymes, you would die. If you didn't have enzymes to break down your food would sit in your gut for weeks and eventually you would die. That's just bottom line. They're that important, okay? Enzymes are absolutely vital to human health. They're foundation, they're part of the foundation of our health. When you think about, well, what are the foundational things? Healthy food, healthy water, warm, dry place to live. But when you go back to the food itself, the enzymes are what's going to break down that food. So even if you had healthy food, if you didn't have the enzymes, you're not going to benefit from that. You'd just be wasting your money. There are specific enzymes that affect every single cellular process within your body. Now, there are a couple of different main types of enzymes. You've got your metabolic enzymes and you've got digestive enzymes. And primarily, this is what we're going to be talking about in this class, is the digestive enzymes. So they break down the food we eat so that we can release the nutrients. That's the vitamins, the minerals, the protein, the amino acids, everything that we need for the fuel out of our food for our life. The enzymes are what's going to break that down. Now, enzymes are created naturally in the body. As soon as you take a bite of food and you start chewing, adults have an enzyme called amylase. And that starts producing things that are going to break down your food. Do you chew your food? I know years and years, I had just a few minutes to eat lunch and I literally swallowed my food whole. So that's one key takeaway that you should immediately begin, is chew your food until it is mostly just liquid when you swallow it, and drink lots and lots of good purified water while you're eating your food. All right, so the enzymes are produced all through the digestive tract, beginning with that saliva, beginning with that chewing mechanism, all through the digestive tract, right? In a healthy human body, that's what is produced in the body. There's only one enzyme, we'll talk about it, that's not produced in the human body that we have to get elsewhere. Now, we are born with like a bank account. I love this analogy. I was listening to some CDs of the late Gary Young, who is the founder and creator of Young Living and all of these beautiful products that we have. And he was using the analogy of a bank account. Now, this recording was back in 2001. This is back when most of us wrote checks. We didn't use a debit card. And if you think about your bank account and you're writing checks against it, your body is that bank account, and the balance, the deposit in that account of enzymes is what it is. Every time we introduce something toxic into our life, whether it's emotions, moods, the ingredients in bad food, processed food, whatever it is that we have to overcome through our immune system, we are writing a check against that account. We're writing a check or swiping out our debit card. And eventually that checking account of enzymes is completely void. It's gone. There's nothing left. And so what happens, we overdraw that checking account. There's all kinds of fees and all kinds of consequences for overdrawing that account, right? So same way with our body. That's what happens. So another thing that goes against us with enzymes is that they break down with heat. 118 degrees, enzymes start breaking down. At 120 degrees, they're completely broken down. Well, okay, I'm cooking my food, right? I'm baking, boiling, broiling, grilling. I've got a Blackstone. I've got an Instant Pot. I am cooking my food, right? It's definitely above 120. I mean, boiling point's 212 degrees. So that food, the enzymes in the food, it's gone. It's completely gone. So even if you bought organic, gorgeous produce and vegetables and you came home and you cooked it, over 120 degrees, you're killing the enzymes in it. Wah, wah, wah. So what do we do? There's so many things that we have going against us. We have to do this education so that we can stay one step ahead of all of this and be able to give our body what it needs, okay? So I'm going to skip over to some other things that can contribute to enzymes breaking down. So pH. pH in our bodies. We can test that with simple test strips with our saliva and also our urine. Ideally, we want to be around 6.4, but if we can end up being too acidic or too alkaline. That's important. Why? Because pH also can destroy enzymes, and we need to know that we're at the right proper pH so that we can use what's in our food. Even if you're eating organic raw vegetables, if your pH is off, you could really be messing up and not being able to use those enzymes. So commercially sprayed foods that are sprayed, think about GMO. So I'm going to give you a little class on this, genetic modified organisms. These are foods that have been genetically altered to withstand whatever science is wanting to do within that food group. I'll give you an example with soybean. So soybeans are grown all over the place. They're in everything. It's super hard to avoid soybean ingredients or derivatives. And so scientists have made soybeans where the aircraft can fly over the crops, dust it with Roundup or glyphosate, and all of the soybean will live except, and all of the weeds around the soybean will die. And so that helps farmers when they come through to harvest just the soybean and not the weeds, right? So all that Roundup, it's not that it didn't kill the soybean, that's one thing, but the other side of that is that it's being absorbed into the soybean. And so a genetic modified organism or GMO of soybean still has all that Roundup. So when you think about things that are GMO, and anything without the label that says non-GMO, you can assume it is GMO, is sprayed with Roundup. Look at all the lawsuits. Look at all the people that are claiming health issues from overuse of Roundup. It's a real problem. So we have to be one step ahead of that. We have to shop and make sure that the foods that we're buying for ourselves and our families are non-GMO. And I promise you, I'm very sensitive to budgets. I know some people are really having a hard time with budgets. I highly recommend the Dave Ramsey program if you need to figure out how to get on a budget and stay on it. But also to be able to afford some non-GMO foods, it's getting more and more affordable. Places like Aldi have great choices at a very affordable price. Places like Sprouts. So just do your homework and shop around. Thrive Market, shop the sales, use your coupons. You can furnish your home with good quality foods. So again, all those commercially sprayed foods are void of enzymes. Now, we've already talked about the cooking the foods, the heat, the commercially sprayed, the pH. I mean, there's just so many things going against us, right? So we should avoid processed foods as often as possible. We also need to look at trying not to microwave so much because microwaves are killing the enzymes in the food. But y'all, I live in a real world. I know. I mean, I'm that mom that went and bought that plastic bag of produce that you just open one end and stick it in the microwave and hit one button, and in 2 minutes you've got vegetables to serve to your family. Your kids are hungry. You're hungry. Your husband's expecting dinner on the table. You have to provide something to fill your bellies and go to bed satiated, right? Well, that's just real life. I mean, there are days going through a drive-through, picking up something to eat, going to a family's house, having someone bring a meal over to show an act of love and servitude to you. You're not going to say, oh, I'm not going to eat that because it's got that ingredient in it. No, you're going to eat it. You're going to honor that person and you're going to eat it and you're going to fill your bellies and you're going to be happy about it, right? It's going to taste great. But what we have to do is we have to learn how to supplement, okay? So I want to also, I don't have a list, but you can Google it. There are enzyme inhibitors in healthy food. So figure out what those are. Enzyme inhibitors that are ingredients in food. It could be preservatives, artificial colors, sweeteners, things that could inhibit you from absorbing your enzymes. So make sure you're kind of on, educating yourself about that. Now, I've got some visuals. You guys, there's about 3,000 enzymes. I picked about a dozen to go through with you, and I have some visuals. Again, you can screenshot it. You can, come back and record this. I mean, it's recorded. Watch it later. Share it, whatever you need to do. Okay? I'm going to try to pronounce these words as easily as I can too. Don't correct me if I'm wrong. It's just, it is what it is. So alpha galactosidase. This is an enzyme that breaks down complex carbs found in vegetables, grains, nuts, seeds, and beans. Okay, well, let's kind of think about this. So nuts, seeds, beans, in seeds, those are grains. Who in here has a wheat sensitivity, a gluten allergy? That's me. I have those problems. I have to watch what I eat that has grains in it because you need the enzymes that are going to break down those seeds, right? Okay. So when I eat things that are, needing this enzyme, I can end up with gas, bloating, cramping stomachs. I can get a fermented sugar, like bringing up air into my gut and feel miserable, right? This ingredient, alpha galactosidase, is found in allerzyme and detoxzyme. Okay, great ingredient. All right, let's look at another ingredient, amylase. Do you guys remember me saying this is produced in the mouth as we're starting to chew our food, which is great? Babies do not have amylase in their saliva. They don't produce it, but they get it from mamas as they're nursing. Now, I'm not here to shame people who are not nursing their babies. That's not what this is about. This is education to teach you how the body works. So this goes back to when my mom could not breastfeed me and she put me on formula, chemical formula, and synthetically produced soy formula. Then my body started having problems that we didn't know why. And it's because the synthetic amylase in that keeps the babies from being able to digest simple sugars. So sugars in everything, we need to be able to digest sugars, simple sugars. So in synthetic formulas, this is a problem. This is why a lot of moms who cannot nurse will go find a farmer who has raw goat milk. This is why raw goat milk helped me, okay? So this ingredient, amylase, is found in allerzyme, detoxzyme, and essentialzyme 4. All right, let's move on. Bromelain. Now, who can tell me which vegetable this is found in? This is a great digestive enzyme. If you've ever heard somebody say, oh, well, if you've got diarrhea, just go eat some pineapple. That's because bromelain is found in pineapple. It breaks down protein and it can actually ease heartburn, nausea, and diarrhea. It's a great digestive enzyme. It is actually found in allerzyme, detoxzyme, essentialzyme 4, and in mightyzyme. All right, moving on. So this is cellulase. Do you remember me saying that there's one digestive enzyme that we don't create? Well, that's cellulase. We cannot create this. And many people have what's called a cellulose allergy. Cellulose is the fiber in vegetables. Now, you can get cellulase for foods. Which foods? How about broccoli, cabbage, kale, Brussels sprouts, cauliflower? All of those are great places to get cellulase. But given the information I've already given you, how do you think you need to consume those foods? Raw, not cooked, right? So you can get the cellulase. Cellulase is responsible for breaking down the fiber, and it has to be supplemented with food or with enzymes. Now, this cellulase to digest cellulose is found in allerzyme, detoxzyme, and in mightyzyme. All right, here's one that we don't see a whole lot of. Invertase. This breaks down or liquefies sucrase into glucose and fructose. And it's an ingredient that they add, a natural ingredient that is sometimes added to help promote shelf life. Now, this is found in allerzyme and in detoxzyme. Invertase. This is a really popular digestive enzyme. If you've ever heard somebody say, well, I'm lactose intolerant, they might be taking something with lactase in it. There's a lot of commercial products out, over-the-counter prescription, things that contain either a synthetic or natural version of lactase. So guess what lactase helps to break down? That's right, dairy. It helps to break down dairy. So sometimes dairy can produce that mucus in our guts, and it's hard to digest. And So back when we were homeschooling and we met this lady who had a Jersey cow, and she was teaching us about that key that was missing in pasteurized and homogenized milk. It's lactase. That's the key that's destroyed out of dairy. So that's why raw milk is so good for you. It's not destroyed. The lactase is there. Many people who all their lives have said, oh, I'm lactose intolerant, I can't have dairy, have been able to consume raw milk without a problem because of the lactase in that raw milk. So when we raised Nigerian dwarf dairy goats for milk, and I was milking goats and making cheese and all the things, I was getting a natural form of this. But it's also found in allerzyme and in detoxzyme, which makes so much sense with those two digestive enzymes, because those are highly recommended for people who have digestive struggles. Okay, so lipase, it breaks down fat that's found in dairy, nuts, oil, and meats. Now let's think about this lipase for a minute. When we have an issue with digestive enzymes and we are not digesting the food we eat, it sits in the gut. We absorb into the bloodstream the nutrients that are broken down from the food by the digestive enzymes in part of that metabolic process. But some of that waste that's left behind is reabsorbed into the body in the form of a toxic poison. You might have heard the terms leaky gut. I've had a health professional tell me that I had leaky gut and I needed to work on it. It made sense. All of the sensitive microbiome in the gut, yes, probiotics, amazing. Prebiotics, absolutely. But it's also the digestive enzymes. And when we have that undigested, fermented food sitting in our gut, then those toxins are reabsorbed into the gut. Stepping up your enzyme game can help your gut, the mucosal lining of the intestines can heal itself. All right, the body was designed to heal itself. We just have to give it the right environment. Enzymes are the environment. Lipase, breaking down those meats. That's a big thing with people who have a hard time digesting, is the meat literally just sits there. All right, so this is found in allerzyme, detoxzyme, essential zyme 4, and in mighty zyme. All right, this is a fun word, pancreatin. Do you see a root word in here that may sound like a human organ? Pancreatin. How about pancreas, right? So think about this. This is an enzyme composition which has amylase, lipase, and protease in it that helps to break down starches and fats while metabolizing complex proteins, removes dead and dying tissue. You guys, we are forever having cellular die-off. We need to get rid of that. The foods we eat, we need to get rid of that pancreatin. Anybody that has fluctuations in some blood sugar issues had that too. My whole life, hangry is how you can describe me when I have not had food, right? Because that blood sugar drops and we've got to feed it. So pancreatin helps to break down those foods, break down the starches and the fats, and pull that into the digestive so that our blood can stay elevated where it needs to with those nutrients. So this ingredient is found in essential zymes 4 and in essential zyme. All right, peptidase. This helps hydrolysis of peptides into amino acids. What are amino acids? The building blocks of protein. Remember that from 6th grade science? This all comes together and starts making sense, right? So these have to be absorbed by the gut. Again, if you're not breaking down the food to be absorbed to the gut, your gut is not happy. Allerzyme, essential zyme 4, and in mighty zyme. All right, phytase. Phytase is the next one. Phytase breaks down the indigestible phosphorus, calcium, and other nutrients. Think about that. You're taking calcium, you're taking other nutrients, minerals. You're expecting to get phosphorus from your foods. What if you're not breaking it down? the blood's not absorbing it. It's just coming out in the toilet, right? So you need some phytase that's going to help you break those things down and utilize them. This ingredient is found in Detox Zyme, Essential Zyme, and in Mighty Zyme. This is a common one, protease. Root word here, like similar to protein. So it's an easy little hack for remembering that protease digests protein. It helps to break down meats, nuts, eggs, and cheese. It's found in Allerzyme, Detox Zyme, Essential Zyme 4, and Mighty Zyme. And trypsin. You be tripping on trypsin, right? Trypsin, it's a pancreatic enzyme, another one that's going to help your pancreas to be healthy, right? It hydrolyzes protein, so it's helping it to break down. This ingredient in a synthetic form is actually added to commercial baby food to pre-digest protein in the baby food. Because babies need, that's why you don't just hand a baby, a chicken breast. Sometimes it needs to be broken down some because their gut doesn't have what it needs to break down those proteins. So it's capable of breaking down the protein membrane in unhealthy cells so that the body can discard them. I'm going to leave you with that one. All right. This is found in Essential Zyme. All right. So this, I don't necessarily think about this as an enzyme, but totally in the category and worth mentioning. Betaine hydrochloric acid, or HCl. You guys, we could do a whole class on HCl and the problems with HCl that's not what it should be. So this is that stomach acid that we know of. It breaks down fats and proteins. It helps with the absorption of protein, calcium, vitamin B12, and iron. Healthy stomach acid kills microbes that are found in your food. We want this, right? But unfortunately, this decreases with age. So we have to supplement our HCl. A lot of times you see people say, well, I've got acid indigestion. I've got acid. I've got too much acid. I've got this. I need to take that. I mean, all these over-the-counter things, right? The purple pill comes to mind. It's not because you have too much acid. It's because you're not making enough of the right acid to break down the foods. And so you're feeling the indigestion symptoms. So how about we address the root and go in and help the hydrochloric acid, or the HCl, in the body, right? This ingredient is found in Essential Zyme. So guys, that is about 12 ingredients that I picked out that I really wanted to kind of break down and show you. I know Young Living is amazing. They have Gary formulated these enzymes with essential oils. His science and third-party testing shows that products like our enzymes that are infused with essential oils are hundreds of times more effective and more used at the cellular level in the body. So you want your digestive enzymes to have essential oils in them. You want to know that your digestive enzymes haven't been processed at temperatures higher than 120 degrees, because what did we just discuss? Those high temperatures kill the digestive enzymes. So are you purchasing and using and taking digestive enzymes that are void? Are you cooking or eating raw foods that have been sprayed with pesticides? They're void with enzymes. Are you cooking at high temperatures your foods because that's what the recipe says? Yes. Then you're missing out on enzymes. If you're dealing with stomach problems, joint discomfort, memory issues, brain fog, guys, I'm telling you, so many of your autoimmune conditions go back to food is medicine. Your food is. But if you're not breaking down the food, you can be making all the great choices and doing all the organic, non-GMO choices. And if you're not breaking down the food with the chemistry of this catalyst called enzymes, then you're not able to absorb those nutrients that you think you are spending your money on, okay? So one of the things that we make sure we get in every single day is enzymes. And I've listed several that contain these ingredients. Now, some of them cross over and do different things. And so if one is out of stock, it's okay. Go get the one that is in stock. Now, I want to speak a little bit on this one for children called Mighty Zyme, because Mighty Zyme is incredible, y'all. It's actually in stock now. And Mighty Zyme is a chewable. It tastes good. Kids love it. This is particularly good for kids that were not nursed like me. Kids that were not nursed need to be taking 1 to 2 of these a day until they're 10 years old. That's just what they recommend, right? You can, after 10 years old, kids can move on up to the adult enzymes if they choose to. Now, the adult enzymes can be taken as early as 7 years old. They are stronger and more potent than the enzymes and Mighty Zymes, of course, because these are designed for children and the others are designed for adults. However, you might have a child that's, I can't swallow a pill, mom. Crush it, open it up, shake it out into some oatmeal, yogurt, applesauce, whatever your kid will eat. Stir it up, put it into some Ningxia Red and have them drink it. They can get these enzymes in even if they're not able to swallow the pills. So I'm going to come back and circle around to some questions. I know this is a lot of information and literally have been talking for a little over 30 minutes. And so, but I do want to share with you a quick tip that I have learned for learning, like, what is it that your body needs? Have you ever heard of muscle testing? Now, I used to think that this was kind of woo-woo, like, what's muscle testing? How do you know? You guys, we're all energy. We're all made up of energy, positive, negative. I can say, my name is Tina, and I will naturally lean into that statement. I can say, my name is Mary, and I will lead away from that statement because it's a negative statement. It's a false statement. It's just the nature of energy and the nature of positive and negative, right? So I'm going to stand up and I'm going to teach you. So I've got a bottle here. Literally, you can just stand up and you want your feet about shoulder width apart. And you literally want to just hold a product. You can hold anything. And you can ask, just as in a relaxed state, let me turn a little bit so you can see, do I need this? And you will gently lean into it if you need it, or gently lean away from it if you don't need it. Now, I'm grabbing my cell phone because I want to show you, do I need this? I don't know if you can see that, but I leaned against it. It's because cell phones are EMF. It's got all kinds of electromagnetic frequencies that are not great for our body. And so don't be wearing your cell phone up against your body. But there are things that we need and things that we don't. So as you're looking at some of these enzymes and you're like, what do I need today? I stock all of them. I have every single one of them, including the Mighty Zymes, and I don't even have little kiddos in my house. But I will ask, what do I need? And then I will take those. I take them as directed, whatever the label says, and I make sure that I get them in with every meal. Think about this. If you're eating and you're putting food into your stomach, what needs to be in that digestive tract to help that food go where it needs to go? What to help it be broken down so that your body can readily absorb everything? The enzymes. So why would you wait till 10 o'clock when you go to bed to take your enzymes? That's a good time if you haven't taken them all day, but you should be taking them with every meal. So I can tell you guys, I have members on our team that are like, well, I don't know what to put on my ER order this month. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you on enzymes? I mean, I don't mean to come across that you should know this, but we should know this. That's why I wanted to take the time out and share with you. We should know these things. And it's very important that you choose living products that are going to do your body good and they're not going to be just flushed away in the toilet, right? Okay, so I want to share with you my giveaway. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for being patient in this video. I have a friend, her name is April Houghton, and she owns a company, several of them actually, but she owns a company. She's a creative person, and it's called Seven Wood Designs. And her website is sevenwoodsdesigns.com. So, sorry, sevenwooddesigns.com. So I bought these adorable little wooden diffusers. You can use these anywhere. I have mine hanging in my car, but you can literally just take your oil. This is Gary's Light, and you just drop it. You can put it on the back, the front, just drop it right on, hang it up, and then you've got yourself an all-natural deodorizer to hang anywhere. You guys stop using these cardboard things that's hanging from your rearview mirror, or those vent plugs that you get at the mall. They're loaded with endocrine disruptors, and I'm sure somebody will be talking about that in this group and helping you educate yourself and your family on why you want to avoid those as well. So I'm giving away 10 of these. So here's what you need to do to get entered to win. I'm going to be choosing 10 people probably tomorrow, because I want to give you some time to watch this after work, or when you have a chance to watch the replay. But I'm going to choose 10 people, and here's what I want you to do. I want you to pick out one thing that you learned in this video, just one, and comment and tell me what you learned and how you plan on implementing that in your life. I hope and pray that this class has been beneficial to you, and that you can rewatch it over and over again, and that you can change your life with digestive enzymes. I've seen several comments in the post that I made a couple of hours before going live, people saying that enzymes have changed their life. They've changed my life, and I can't wait to hear the story about how they've changed yours too. So you guys have a wonderful day, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.